Hi, I'm Pam and I'm here to talk about video games. Today I'm taking a look at and giving a quick review of a cooperative game that I was eagerly anticipating coming out. It's Hidden Agenda. Hidden Agenda was developed by Supermassive Games and released as a PS4 exclusive on October 24th, 2017. In it, you play two characters, Detective Becky Marnie and District Attorney Felicity Graves, both of whom are involved in the case of the serial killer, the Trapper Killer. In the opening scene, a man is caught, prosecuted, and sentenced to death for these crimes. But when the game picks up 5 years later, doubt is cast on if this is the real killer, and Marnie and Graves try to find out before it's too late. The game uses branching storylines based on decisions made and has multiple endings. It can be played solo or with up to 6 players using PlayLink. So I was really looking forward to this game as soon as I heard it talked about at E3, I think it was. I'm a big fan of party games and anything that you can play sort of sitting on a couch with some friends. This was made by the same people who did Until Dawn, which is a fantastic game that I really loved from a few years ago. And even though that game was meant for single player, it also had some sort of party possibilities as well, as it was very good for spectators or making decisions together with other people as you played it. So I was hoping that Hidden Agenda would take that and sort of run with it. Unfortunately, I found Hidden Agenda inferior to Until Dawn in a number of ways, both as a story that you can experience as a single-player game and as a way for you to get your friends involved in the action. So I'll go over the cooperative or competitive mode of this first. With friends, you can play in story mode, where you work together to solve the case by making decisions, looking for clues, and doing QuickTime events. In competitive mode, you're working against each other and trying to get the most points by making decisions go your way, the titular hidden agendas. So first of all, if you want to play, one of the things that is both a positive and a negative is that you don't need 6 PlayStation 4 controllers. It's a 6-player game, or up to 6 players. Everyone can just download the Hidden Agenda app on their phone and play from these. So if you are playing with a lot of players, this is great, because who wants to spend hundreds of dollars on PlayStation 4 controllers? You use the app and basically just use a touch screen, just scrolling your thumb over the screen to help make decisions. So you start out the game and you are investigating a house at night. It's raining. I think the first decision in the game is, do you go right through the front door or do you go around back and scope things out? So the first decision comes up. There's 2 boxes on either side of the screen, and everyone uses their phone to decide which thing they want to do. And whichever one gets the most votes is the action that you will take in the game. So while this seems okay, when the hidden agendas come in, they sort of screw things up a little bit, I find. So at multiple points in the game, someone will be given a hidden agenda. It's a message that pops up on your phone, and it tells you which way the next decision has to go in order for you to complete your agenda. I first assumed that hidden agendas would be something that would impact the entire game, like one player being told that they wanted a certain person suspected of the crimes, something like that. I also thought they would function to make the players communicate and discuss the best course of action. But instead, hidden agendas are given out seemingly randomly every few decisions. They can be for something as minor as how you respond to a question, things which would be difficult to make an argument for or against. The thing that adds an extra layer of silliness is Takeover Cards, which players can earn by doing certain actions like finding clues first. A Takeover card lets you be the sole decision maker on the decision you use it for. So winning or losing the hidden agendas was mainly about how well you could time the use of the takeovers. So there's also a score system that comes into play with this, and you get points for completing your hidden agenda. The other players get to vote on who they think has the hidden agenda, and if they get that right, they get points themselves. And the scoring system sort of runs contrary to the idea of playing through this story. I assume as you go through that you want the good ending. You want to find out who the killer is, you want to keep your character safe, but having these hidden agendas, making you make arbitrary decisions and making the other players just try to block you from making those decisions, sort of goes against it. So you kind of have to make a decision, like, do I want to play this game for points, or do I want to play this game to, find out who the killer is? So in that way, I don't think that Hidden Agenda is a particularly effective competitive video game because it doesn't seem to know what it wants. And then one last thing about the co-op is that you have to be on the same Wi-Fi network in order to play the game. So while this worked out for me, because I did have people over to my house to play this, it means you can't do any sort of like streaming gameplay like the Jackbox games or even the newer Telltale games that have a crowd play mode. Anyone that you want to play with has to be in your house playing on the same screen. So there's no option to play with people who may not live in the vicinity. So as for the story mode, I did play through the entire game by myself, and I'll give some opinions on that. First of all, I have to say that while the phone app is a good thing when you have 6 players, if you're playing alone, you also have to play with the phone app. You can't use the PS4 controller, which I found very frustrating. I found it would have been much easier to control things, to make decisions, and especially to do QuickTime events, of which there are some in the game, with an actual controller rather than the touchscreen on my phone. So I was a little bit disappointed that this was the only option for playing the game. The gameplay isn't all that engaging. Every few minutes you have to make a decision of how you're going to respond to a conversation. There is some clue finding when you are at crime scenes, so you'll get a little visual up top telling you the clues that you're looking for, and then you just have to sort of scroll around the screen and find them. And other than that, there's, as I said, the occasional QuickTime event where you need to, go through a door or jump over an object in order to not let a suspect get away from you. Where the game really falls down is that it's just not that good of a story. It's your typical serial killer mystery in a dark and rainy city with some Saw-like elements thrown in. The game's writing couldn't make me care about any of the characters I was playing or interacting with. The characterization of the protagonists is a problem partially due to the types of decisions you can make. With either Marnie or Graves, you can be brave and good one minute and a total liar and coward the next. There's no consistency here, and too many of the decisions seem unimportant. The game also suffers from telling instead of showing. At the beginning, a radio show tells us in voiceover that Marnie is a dirty cop, but we never see any evidence of that in the 5 years since she caught the Trapper Killer. So the fact that she's under suspicion for most of the game isn't really believable. The game clocks in at around 2 hours, which is ideal if you want to play through and get different endings, but it's not something I'm compelled to do. So overall, I'm quite disappointed in Hidden Agenda, although I do really like the concept, and I'd like to see more developers do this, of looking to make a game that you can play cooperatively in a room together and go through a story and make decisions with your friends. While I don't think the competitive part of it really worked at all, and I just don't think the story was engaging enough or well written enough to really make me want to play over and over to see all the different endings. I do like the concept. I hope people continue to try to make these type of games, and I think they'll just get better with more practice, but unfortunately, Hidden Agenda isn't a game that I can recommend.
Finn, listen to me. I will look into this, Adam Jones, what you're saying, but even if it's true, it might be a day late and $1 short. I'm sorry.
So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this review. I tried to put out something a little bit quicker, a little bit less scripted so that I could get it out faster. Let me know in the comments whether you liked it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.